Here at Lupo's Kitchen, we have two versions of stories, usually a short and a long. This one's just going to be a long version where we kind of chuckle, have some fun behind the scenes, and just enjoy it. Hang out if you're cool enough.
Are you looking for a dessert that won't knock you off your program? Well, we figured out a brownie recipe that is vegan, low fat, gluten-free, and really low in sugar. So it's the healthiest one we've been able to find and kind of manipulate out there. There are some recipes very similar, but we've kind of changed some things around a little bit, and we really like them. So check this recipe out. All right, before you start, you're gonna wanna set the oven and start preheating it at 350. Today we're making bean brownies, and in the intro I said there's very little sugar, but Lorelai, the way we make it has no sugar. So
It only has sugar if you put the chocolate chips in.
the chocolate chips, and we're probably gonna leave those out in this recipe.
Yep.
All right, so where do we start? What do we need?
We've got 1 can of black beans.
Okay.
And
They're drained?
yep, they're drained. And in case it's not you're watching it not in America, it's a 15-ounce can.
Okay.
And or you want to use not canned beans, you just cook them. So that's that. We've got 2 cups of oats, half a cup of cocoa, half a cup of stevia, and we use the stevia, so it's just
A stevia mix.
yeah, so it kind of comes out like sugar.
Got it. And the stevia sugar mix.
Then there's a tablespoon of flax, a teaspoon and a half of baking powder, and 2 tablespoons of vanilla, and then 1 cup of plant milk. And I use almond because it is thin, and it works better because this turns into a huge thick paste.
We're actually using a smaller food processor than we normally do, so we'll be cutting this in half and doing it twice.
No, this is the one.
Oh, this is one.
Yeah,
so
this
we will,
is one.
Okay, this is one, and it'll fit in this 9.
Yep.
Okay, so here we go. We will. Any special way to mix it? Or?
Yeah, the first thing you have to do is turn the oats into flour.
All right.
So it's the first one that goes in, and it goes in by itself.
All right.
And then you blend it into flour.
We'll be right back. I'm gonna make you so you don't have to listen to the noise. So we put in oats. What kind of oats were these?
I just used quick oats.
Is there a reason, or will any work?
Any will work.
Okay.
This is what we have. We usually eat the old-fashioned oats as
As oats.
oatmeal. So that was the one I used for flour.
We blended this for about a minute, 30 seconds to a minute, somewhere around.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Then you just start adding everything in
All at once.
all at once.
Perfect. So,
So beans, stevia, cocoa powder,
well, that smells good.
flax.
And this is cocoa powder with just cocoa, right? There's nothing weird in it.
Yep, no, it's just cocoa powder.
The
Unsweetened.
vanilla smells wonderful.
The vanilla does smell wonderful. And the thing with the plant milk is sometimes you need more than a cup. You won't know until after you blend it. Sometimes it turns into a huge thick paste that you can't really get out, and it doesn't cook quite as well, so I'll add more if need be.
Well, that's kind of what the mix should look like, right? But it's going to be stickier than regular brownies.
So this is super thick, and it's a fight to get it out. Because you got to pull the blade out, which is
Right.
an ordeal. Scrape it all down and get it into a parchment lined pan.
So that's the downside is, because you're cooking fat-free, it doesn't come out as easy as regular brownie mix. But I'll tell you what, I just tasted it and you're like, why would you put black beans in brownies, but you can't even taste it. It's fabulous.
When we first found it, I was really
I was really
turned off
skeptical.
on it. I was like,
I don't want no bean brownies, but they are good.
They're, totally addictive. Great for a chocolate craving. And there's really nothing in it.
Yeah, this is, if you compare the calories to a regular batch of brownies, how much it is,
it's ridiculous.
I would think you could probably eat one of these brownies for probably 5 to 6. One regular brownie, you could probably eat 6 or
I think
6 or 7 of
one
these or
regular
something.
serving is probably the whole pan of these. There's really nothing but the beans and the oats and the milk.
Beans, oats, and milk, really. But you'll be shocked. It tastes like brownies. It's magic. It's like Doug Henning came in here and made our brownies. In the wonderful world of magic. Now remember, this is kind of like a sweet treat dessert. And there is only 7.5 grams of fat in this entire pan if you add up the milk and the oats. And you know, some of that fat with oats is buffered by the fiber and stuff.
Yeah, and then the flax has a little bit, but it's a tablespoon of flax, so I don't know how much.
So I'm not sure, so maybe let's just guess it around 10 grams probably altogether. But for a whole tray of brownies, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
All right, so what we do is we have a metal pan, and I guess I could use any kind of pan, like glass pan or whatever, but put parchment paper down or you will be sorry.
Yeah, this is just the pan I found works the best for us here.
So we're actually making a pretty large size pan, and we are going to do this recipe again and double the size of this. So at home, if they were only going to do a single recipe, it would be a pan half this size.
Yeah, a little pan.
A little pan. And we're making a big sheet of them. All right, because these aren't normal brownies, they don't spread very well at all. So they're sticky and they're kind of hard to work with. And this is more of a difficult step. It's kind of the trade-off of, you know, you want a healthy dessert, you have to put up with this part of it. But what you do is you'll just plan and put like clumps down. You can spread it a little bit, but it does stick a lot.
It sticks a lot.
So just be aware of that. It's not going to act like normal brownie batter, and don't expect it to. So here's it all spread out. We have 2 batches mixed here, so yours will look half this size if you used 1 batch.
And this is the consistency it is. I ended up putting that back in and adding a little more milk to it. It was just way too thick.
Okay.
So it moves about like that. You just kind of wiggle it around and...
Like a very thick batter.
Yeah, it doesn't really... I don't even know if I'd go with batter. This is more like a paste.
Okay, Play-Doh consistency.
Yeah.
All right, the other thing is if you do have a sweet tooth and you like that gooey chocolate thing, you can put like vegan chocolate chips on this. Get the dairy free and try to find as low fat as you can, but they massively increase, just a little bit of chocolate chips really increases the calories. I was surprised.
Yeah.
But you can get a lot of taste out of them if you just sprinkle them. You'll get
So
like
what
patches
we
of
did was
chocolate.
we shaved it
Yeah.
and just sprinkled it across the top, and it was like 3 tablespoons of like shavings, I think, and that was more than enough to...
But just remember, you can get in real trouble because if you look at the fat content of chocolate, it's through the freaking roof. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we only did that one time, put chocolate chips, and after that we just leave them off.
We just leave them off now. But if you are that kind of person where you're like, I want the gooey chocolate chips, and say, you know, maybe you're not trying to lose weight, or you got
if you're doing it
kids,
for
or
a potluck, or you
yeah,
know,
you got family coming over, you can put a bunch of chocolate chips on this, and you're still way lower calorie than if you were to use traditional mix, I think.
every traditional mix has like half a cup of oil in it. It's a ridiculous
Oil and a bunch of milk and everything else.
oil and milk and eggs
Yeah.
is what you add to it, and the calories are insane.
So you'll be surprised that this will trick your brain into thinking you're eating a brownie when we finish.
And the beans, you taste no bean flavor at all. It's all covered up by the chocolate. It just gives it the gooey brownie consistency.
Yeah. Okay, so how long do they bake it?
I put it in for about 25 minutes,
Okay.
and that seems to work every time.
And then do they have to let it cool and all that like traditional brownies?
Well, if you don't want to burn your mouth.
No, I mean to cut it and stuff. Will it be all sticky as hell?
Yeah. But cooling isn't going to change that. These are just sticky. It's gluten-free. It's...
Yeah, I mean...
Anything gluten-free is kind of...
You're doing magic brownies, so
Yeah.
you just got to put up with that sort of stuff. There we go. So here's the final shot. This is what it looks like when it's coming out. We'll let it cool down a little bit. Then we'll munch some brownies. And again, you know, this is, if you're trying to do weight loss, this isn't an everyday kind of food. But if you really want some brownies and, you know, you don't mind stalling out a little bit for a day or two, this is what I consider an amber food, you know. We look at I always talk about green light, yellow light, red light. This is kind of in between. Because of the processed oat flour, it kind of makes it heavier. It's still a little bit of processed food. But it's so much better than regular brownies, and you can eat these probably a few times a week if you really want it and stay on track. Sometimes these are a little dry for people and they have a hard time, or you just want more flavor on top. What I do is heat these up maybe for like 30 seconds and put PB Fit. There's a chocolate PB Fit and a peanut, and you just spread it on here, and it adds a lot of moisture and flavor without many calories and fat. So enjoy them.